and we should be
live.
We should be live. So there is that.
There's a lag. My YouTube window's only just starting.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I've got a small message. This Hangout on Air is live. Hangouts on Air will disappear later this year. Use YouTube webcam to stream.
Yeah, YouTube are shaking things up in every possible means they can to push people away.
Yeah, clearly. Well, I mean, Cocoscope is trying their hands at live streaming. So maybe I'm going to give that a try, and maybe I should reconnect to my Twitch account and do that one.
Well, I watched the last two Badger streams on Twitch because they couldn't stream on YouTube for some reason.
Right.
And it was, I mean, the stream was fine, but the chat's not quite as good.
Hi there, Michael Keller. And is this stream going to be worth it? Well, I would say it is.
Compared to Ghostbusters 2, I think he's being very sarcastic. Or is that Ghostbusters 2, the original Ghostbusters 2, not the Ghostbusters revamp?
Oh, the family
with all the whamming.
That's not Ghostbusters 2. That's.
I don't know these things. More important, I don't care.
Hi, Leprechaun.
Yeah, I'm still eating dinner because I didn't put it on early enough. That's GB Great Britain 2016.
Why are you so old? Sorry, I had to make that joke. That was
no, funny. You can make that joke. Most of my favourite movies were made in the 1930s and 40s, in black and white by RKO. But there you go.
Yeah, but Ghostbusters 2 is indeed the one at yeah. Well, it's not a bad movie. I mean, it's not as good as Ghostbusters 1.
Well, of course not. That goes without saying.
This is going to be more fun, though, Michael. I mean, at least I think. I mean, if I had to choose between this or watching Ghostbusters, I would choose this. Actually, I am choosing this. There you go.
Well, you know what? At least 40 years ago, they invented recording mechanisms for things that were on television. So you could record them and then watch them later.
That's ancient.
Maybe the Swiss, for all their excellence in chronographs, never got.
Ludicrous Leprechaun is dropping difficult words. Ipso facto.
No, it's not difficult. It's just Latin.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, no.
I can drop Latin, etc.
Well, yes. The thing is, it is almost time to go serious, and we would go.
No one can top Amy Pot seducing Lois Tully.
So I'm going to change the background for this video.
I'll be back in a moment, folks.
There we go. Okay, today we're going to talk about the use of fathers, or rather, how stupid are people to still believe in the lie that is toxic femininity. I'm sorry, toxic masculinity. Oh, honest mistake. I'm going to start with this image, and I'm going to leave it up for a while because it does say a lot. And there's only the few of us, Ludicrous, Michael, and John is AFK now, and unfortunately there's a good chance I'll be AFK in a moment as well. This kind of, I'm going to read it with you. I've been swamped with mothers for the past few weeks screaming for help with their sons. Therefore, yesterday I had a forum with 75 of my male students and had an in-depth discussion about perseverance and how the stress they're putting on their mothers are literally killing them. This really hit home, as several students' mothers had already had a stroke. However, it got pretty deep when I asked these three questions. Why do you guys have so much anger inside? Why do you disrespect your mum? And what's hindering you and your mum from having a positive relation? Their responses were: one, she don't let my dad be involved in my life. I have no idea which students, mate. I merely said students. It could be a gender study. I don't know. But the first point these kids give, especially the boys give, is they need the dads involved in their life. And often when parents are divorced, mothers are the ones that
hang on. Sorry.
Go on.
This is supposed to be by a lecturer, right?
I assume, yeah.
Who can't spell for fuck. She's written they are there as THEIR. Sorry, disregard this. Illiteracy negates any validity.
It's an American. They make typos a lot.
It's not the typo, it's the stupidity. I'm sorry, if you're a lecturer and you post this and you haven't spelled, at least cursorily check the spelling, what bloody use is this idiot to their students?
I don't know. Depends on the study it's giving. I mean, if they're teaching English, then yeah, sure.
No. I'm sorry, no. The educationally subnormal should not be teaching.
So where do you? I mean, I don't see it as fast. Their responses seems all right to me. So which is the problem? Though their responses should be dot, comma, or semicolon.
No, it's not that. It's the bit above that my problem is.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out because English not being my first language.
Up at the top. She said, and how the stress they're putting on their mothers, and the there is they are.
They are. Yeah.
And if you don't know that as a bloody lecturer, you shouldn't be a lecturer in any subject.
I understand. Well, people are people. I mean, it's possible that this was written by someone who has English as their second language as well.
Okay, you shouldn't be teaching in America if you are not adequately competent in the language.
I'm not sure that the teacher who wrote this is teaching in America.
Okay.
I merely got this, and it gives you...
No, wrote MON. Only Americans do that, bloody illiterate idiots.
That's not true.
Well, it should be. It's MUM. Everyone knows that.
No, it's only mum with a U in England.
No.
Yeah.
No. Try Canada, Australia, New Zealand,
for fuck's
South Africa. Native English-speaking countries.
No. English colonies that are still English colonies.
No. English-speaking countries.
Anywho, back to the points, their responses. Because this is not perfect English. She don't let my dad be involved in my life.
No, if that's a quote, that's fine.
I don't think it's a quote because it's their main response. Out of 75 people, the one that they got the most is this one. I'm sorry, but no one gives it like that. She doesn't let my dad be involved in my life. So I'm thinking it might not have been an English native or an English speaker, but someone who gives an education on a different school. But the points they are making, because that's the thing I'm more or less looking to.
No, I'm sorry, I think the whole thing's fake. And I'll tell you why I think this whole thing is fake. So you've got this idiot who can't spell. They said 75 of my male students had an in-depth discussion about perseverance and how the stress they put on their mothers are literally killing them.
Yeah,
they really hit home as several students' mothers have already had a stroke. Bullshit. I call bullshit.
Fair enough. But I'm not so much interested in the top part. It's more the down part that we all talk about. Because we know this is happening a lot. When parents are divorced, mothers often don't allow their kids to be part of the upbringing once they are no longer together. And hi there, Daisy Pumpkin. Sorry, I need to go for a fast bio break. You bring up your points then. I'll be right back.
Well, I was going to recount a short tale from my 84-year-old mother about the Joe Brand situation.
Okay, I'll be right back though. So go on.
Well, I will give the prelude to it. So if I talk slowly enough. Basically what it was, my mother has a discussion group, not weekly, but irregular intervals, 2 times a month perhaps. And the latest one was after the recent upset over Joe Brand. And my mother brought this up to me spontaneously. I didn't ask her about it. And she was saying how everyone in her group of fellow octogenarians, or close to that, were disgusted that the BBC broadcast what Joe Brand said. They thought Joe Brand was completely, what she said was unacceptable. And I thought the mere fact that my 84-year-old normie mother, who doesn't know what the internet is, barely, proffered unprompted this opinion, I thought was would be was very interesting. That the BBC seemed to be overstretching their hand in the progressive front. But yeah, I call bullshit on that piece. I think it's a lie. 75 male students, and several of them have had mothers who've had strokes, and those strokes are due to the very is a harsh treatment of those boys. Yeah, no, that is an agenda speaking. That is not. First, it's not reality, and secondly, should you have a class of 75 male students and several of their mothers had a stroke, which is incredibly unfortunate, and you're blaming them all on this one thing? Don't believe it. It's someone's made it up.
How do you mean someone made it up?
The anecdote about the 75 students and several mothers that had a stroke.
Oh, well, that's very possible that someone made it up. The responses are realistic, though.
Yeah, exactly what Michael Skeller says. And it's, why do you disrespect your mum? I'm sorry, if you had a class of male students, there may be some who do not have their mother in high regard. There'd be some who don't have their father in high regard. Well, there'd be some who have neither mother nor father in high regard, and there will be a far larger number who hold both in high regard.
Yeah, that's what I want to say, because, I mean, if I look at the responses, I mean, I work with kids as well. If I look at these responses, she doesn't let my father be involved in my life. I know situations where children are having this problem when their parents are divorced. But that doesn't mean they're disrespectful to their mother, because there is still a loyalty towards their mother. So they bring it. They bring it here as, or the top part of the text brings it as if this is a reason for the kids to be negative towards their mother, where most situational examples I know, kids do recognize that mothers don't let their fathers be involved. But they are not turning against their mother because of this. because loyalty of a child is very difficult. They are
Yeah.
loyal to both parents, and that's not easily taken down.
Well, you hear people say, "Oh, I realise my mum's not, doing something bad, but I can't afford to turn against her because she's the only one I've got left."
Yeah. And stuff like all she's concerned about is child support, but I need his support. That's you do hear it, but not like that, because children themselves, even 18-year-olds, don't recognize it as such. And an 18-year-old, a parent doesn't have to pay child support for an 18-year-old. So, and a 9-year-old definitely doesn't recognize it like that, because a 9-year-old will see that that his or her mother is hounding their father for child support, but they don't recognize that it's not for them. They recognize that it is for them, even if the mother does abuse this. So, point one, point two, you have to take them with a grain of salt. She's been around too many men. I'm sorry, that could be the case, but that's individual. That's not standard, because there are plenty of women that stopped having a relationship with the father of their children, but didn't have a new relationship. So I've heard and remember every negative thing she said about my dad. Now that is something that you do hear a lot. That should have been number one, perhaps, because I hear that a lot more than the other ones. And especially if you compare it with point five. A lot of boys will hear their mothers say, "Oh, you look so much like your father," or "Oh, your behavior is so much like your father." And often these mothers give this as a form of a compliment.
Yeah, but they are
Positive moments.
again 75 of her male students, and yet somehow, even though the average is only 40% of children these days, so many of them are with single mothers.
Yeah.
It seems.
Well, it is, especially in certain countries, it is huge. But we see this in England and in the Netherlands as well. In the Western,
No, but not in the sorts of communities with all these students. You see, the reason I would suspect it was higher education is because she says 75 of my male students. Well, no one teaching at a lower level would have 75 students, would they?
depends really. I mean, in how do you call it? Age brackets 12 to, let's say, 16 to 18. Yeah, that's possible actually in this country.
You see, well, maybe it's because my
Because
schooling was different because you're split up for classes.
Mhm.
Each group you split up into has a different teacher in each subject.
No. What we have, for example, in the Netherlands, what we have here is, for example, the Dutch teacher gives Dutch, but he gives Dutch to every class. But there are maybe like 12 classes, and some have 2 hours today, and some have 3 hours today, and some have nothing today, but they will have 2 hours tomorrow, or 1 hour tomorrow, and 2 hours later in the week. So it is possible that you have more than one class.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
I do. As I say, my schooling was in the distant past.
Yes.
They weren't using slate and chalk, but it wasn't far from it.
Okay, well, if we disagree with that one, or we don't think it's that good one, let's take it away and let's see what else. We have the concept of toxic masculinity is feminism's way of shaming and controlling man's nature while still expecting those same men using those same traits to die for society's sake, initiate relationship, and not complain about that. This one better?
Well, I've heard this said a number of times.
But I didn't think this one would be too good for the whole father.
Well, no, because I found studies into fatherhood and the benefits of fatherhood. Positive things. You found negative things.
No, the negative things I found are because the lack of fatherhood.
Yeah, well, I would rather focus on the positive, and I have looked at
Yeah, fair enough.
studies into. I search for the importance of fathers.
Yeah. No, I
Yes.
completely agree with that.
And
So go on, sorry.
yeah, and so so my results are positive ones because
Well,
we can attack people who are negative about fathers all day, and that does nothing. What we need is to arm people with positive information to enable them to say, no, actually, you are wrong. Fathers are positive. Here's the evidence.
okay, well, your time to share then.
Oops, hang on. I've just had a message from. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm not quite sure what she said they did a dress rehearsal and there's somebody dressed in a very beautiful Korean outfit. I think they might be having a Korean version of the wedding.
Ah, okay.
Which will be the third wedding, but that's another story. Because they got married and because they're on TV, the TV company made them pretend to do the marriage
Well, that's annoying.
for this show. Doesn't matter. Sorry. Okay, so where am I? Yes. So I did a search, as I said, on. Is that being shared?
I have broadcast you now. You're broadcasting.
Yeah. So I did a search and I tried to find a spread of articles on the on the value of fathers, because there are particular groups who are attacking not just fathers, but the timing of this is because tomorrow's Father's Day. They attack Father's Day and the concept, like fathers are unimportant. And a number of these articles are from that premise that this is a response to say, no, these attacks are wrong. Fathers are positive or can be positive. I mean, like all people, the individual will be variable. Families can be bad, harmful as well as positive. So the first one I found is this one from someone called Focus on the Families. And basically it runs through some studies. There's this one from David Poppenhoe, Dr. David Poppenhoe of Rutgers University. And then there's a summary of meta-study. So the next set of information, like there's 82% of studies on father involvement since 1980 found significant association between positive father involvement and offspring well-being. And it lists more summarized results along that type. The next one I found was from Psychology Today. Again, the psychologist who wrote this, it's more of a blog, I guess. Just makes generalized comments talking about the importance of fatherhood. I found this interesting because it's a female author. She says, we'll know we've reached equal parity when Father's Day becomes as well celebrated as Mother's Day, which I thought was a nice touch from her. I have another one from an obviously more biased organization insofar as it's called fathers.com. And this gives, again, a look at the research. And it actually has a graph for those of us who couldn't be bothered to read.
Yeah.
And it's one of a number of articles talking about the statistical evidence. And again, the problem with statistical evidence is it's a generalization, but of the correlation between fatherlessness and bad life outcomes for both boys and girls.
Yeah.
And several of these articles, they go on to describe how the way that fathers provide an influence differ from the way that mothers provide an influence in the general case. So obviously, everyone's different, but it talks about there are general trends of differences. And so I just thought it was interesting that there were all these different articles that go through and basically explain why that fathers are important, what value they have, and so forth. And where was it? There was one of them had a great little thing at the end. Here we go. This first one I pointed to. It says here at the end, the implication is clear. Those of us who are in the know need to do everything we can to get this information out to the general public as quickly as possible. If it's true that father involvement has so many positive effects on kids' lives, then, as sociologist W.G. Young has said, the fact that this benefit is here should raise concerns for those who do not have these resources.
And the question is, what's the resource that they do not have?
The father being.
Yeah. So.
Sorry. I also meant to read this one, but it was before, but I missed it. She talked about her blog piece, and she said, we've only touched the surface, but you can see where the evidence is taking us. The best studies demonstrate beyond a shadow of doubt that fathers play an important and irreplaceable role in healthy child development. This means that your hunches, it was responding to a question, are right, and the messages we're receiving from the media, the culture, and government policy are wrong. Which I thought was very firmly worded.
Mm-hmm. But it's well, interesting, funny. I don't know how to say this, but there's not too long ago. There's this change in the storyline, in the narrative, because feminists have been calling out toxic masculinity for the longest time, but single-parent households are doing far worse.
Yes.
Children need their fathers. Well, if that's the case, can we then not say it's not toxic masculinity that's the problem? It's toxic femininity.
I think that's
a slight toxic femininity that is pushing away fathers.
No, I think it's less toxic femininity than welfare dependency stimulated by bad government policy.
Don't you think they have the same thing?
No, well, no, because one's a reaction and one's a cause. Women wouldn't behave like this if there weren't all these societal and financial incentives to behave this way.
No, you could be right. But it came somewhere. I mean, the whole idea of government...
Well, no, it was... Here's a problem, right? So the problem with welfare is it's expensive. So you want to target it to only deserving cases. And we've seen this over and over again. So what they do is they put in a well-meaning qualification. And we can trace this back to policies of Lyndon B. Johnson in the mid-1960s, when they provided support for single mothers, to help single mothers, but there could not be a man involved. And the incidence of single mothers has shot up ever since.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the women were incentivized to be single.
Yeah, this is something we saw not just in America. This is what we've seen in most Western countries. I mean, England has been terrible in that way.
Not quite as bad, but yes. And the point being is that how the women react is perfectly understandable given their choices. And so you can't really blame them, because they weren't like, oh, this is what we want. It's, oh, what are the choices available? Oh, that looks like the best one. That's the one I'll take. And, so you have to look at the welfare policy of government as the initiator, not the mothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I understand.
That's my view, because, I mean, women just as much as men coexisted in family units for thousands of years without problems, because there wasn't a welfare state to incentivize them to do it on their own.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go say, oh, it's women's fault. No, it's not. I'm sorry, that I can't agree to that.
Well, it's sorry.
They are the agents, but they are not in this instance responsible.
No, then it would be too simple to say they are the main responsible or the main culprits. I agree with you on that. But they do have a strong influence.
Yeah, because society is gynocentric. Government generally does what's good for women, or what is thought to be good for women.
I'm going to respond to Daisy Pumpkin, by the way. I think children of either gender can develop well in a single-parent family of either gender, but it depends on the parent and other factors, e.g. peer pressure, but dad and mom is best. Well, dad and mom is best, yeah, sure. No problem there. More and more studies show that the chances of a child, especially for boys, but this is true for girls too, failing in life because of one-parent households are one in two. The chances of them going downhill are actually 1 in 2. So yeah, the risk you're taking as a single parent, and I'm not talking about single parents where one of the parents died, because somehow this is different. Children themselves recognize this different. So yeah, we can't use those.
I think it's the difference between the generality and the specific. Yes, it is absolutely correct that the generality doesn't speak to the individual case. Generalities never do. So that is true of all generalities. When you have a statistical likelihood of X, then 1 minus that statistical likelihood won't do X. By definition, that's the way it works. But the problem is that there's a general narrative pushing government policies and pushing mainstream attitudes about fathers, and attacking Father's Day as a concept is part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because could you imagine what would happen if somebody tried to attack Mother's Day?
Oh well, yeah, but in all fairness, there are feminists who already have done that too. Because both Mother's Day and Father's Day are not inclusive for the 0.01% of gender dysphoric people out there. And it's less than 0.01%, because most people that are gender dysphoric don't have a problem with Father's Day or Mother's Day.
Oh no. Most transsexual people don't, because they want to transition, not deny the two sexes.
Hi there, Googler Gamer. Sorry, tongue breaker. Welcome. I don't quite understand your question marks, but if you do have a question, by all means, share it.
Ludicrous claims he attacked Mother's Day. I wasn't considering a person with 35 subscribers on YouTube.
Well,
Sorry, shouldn't laugh, but
my campaign failed. What? The campaign to have more leprechauns in.
No, he attacked Mother's Day. He did a spoof thing about Mother's Day. You know what his videos are like, very funny, but not always to be taken seriously.
True that. Googler, what kind of questions do you answer? I answer all sorts of questions, but today's topic is the importance of fathers. And John answers a lot of questions too, by the way. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't.
I more usually avoid the question and answer something I'd rather talk about instead.
True that.
Okay, no. So in my massive research, which took about 3 minutes, I looked through these articles I found, and then when I came to talk about them, I was not. My brain doesn't work in the right way to remember all the points. And then Modway mentioned the thing about different outcomes. But I thought this was interesting because it specifies the differences between how a mother influences or helps children develop and how a father helps children develop. And it's not in this book, but it might not, I don't think it's in this one, but he was saying that both types of care are necessary, neither is sufficient. And this is what we would expect because we've evolved dimorphic differences for a reason.
Yeah, true that.
And we've evolved parenting as a partnership.
Yeah, no, it's purely evolutionary psychology. It's simple as that. So yeah.
So if you take away half the parental influence, half the skills, etc., it's not surprising the outcomes are suboptimal in general.
True that.
And it's always in general because there will always be specific exceptions, and because this is what you often hear. It's like, oh, single motherhood is not good for children. But I know someone who's a brilliant single mother, or I'm a brilliant single mother. Yes, but you're a specific case. We're talking about for society as a whole, and the government acts not for specific cases, but society as a whole.
Yeah. Googler Gamer, can I ask general questions regarding space and the universe? Yes, sure you can, mate.
Yeah, 42, mate.
42. And don't forget your towel.
Yeah.
But any question is any question can be answered. I can't say you will like the answer. I might not promise that it's a good answer.
Hang on. I've got to do this. I've got to turn my camera on a second. Hang on. If I can find the right bloody window, stupid man. Hang on. Turn off screen sharing. Turn on my camera. This is for Daisy and Michael. I have beer, thank you.
Well, you show us your beer? I didn't see.
No. Michael said, someone hand John a beer so he can focus again. And Daisy said, I'd buy John a drink. And thank you so much for your concern. Really. And I'm showing you, I have a beer.
That's
you can, Michael, but it's a long trek for you. You'd be better off just buying your own. It'd be a lot quicker and cheaper.
As far as you know, our universe was created in a Big Bang explosion.
Ah, the jury's out on that. The jury's out.
In fairness, this is me being nasty, but I do not know what you know. Now, the Big Bang explosion is a theory. The shrinking, expanding universe is a theory, and I don't know. But considering father.
No, the physics is out on the Big Bang. No one quite knows. There's lots of theories.
Yeah. But considering that topic is fathers, I mean, I don't mind doing a Big Bang story one day. I'll have to prepare, obviously.
I did a Genesis Bible parody about the universe. It's the very first thing I wrote and published on the internet.
What? 40 years ago.
No, it was the end of 2015.
I'm sorry I had to do that.
Big Bang
Anyway.
Theory. Big Bang Theory is a rubbish TV show. Well, some people like it, I guess.
Yeah,
Don't expect any seriousness. We're on the non-serious chat on a Saturday, and the seriousness happens on a Wednesday.
Google Gamer, where did this particle come from? Who said
it wasn't a particle? Wasn't a particle.
No, the Big Bang Theory says an electron-sized particle exploded.
And it doesn't. It says it was a singularity, therefore it was infinitely small. Electron isn't infinitely small.
No, and the difference is that a singularity can be, for example, a black hole. And once a black hole does create terminal mass, because apparently black holes can do that too, just like suns can explode or implode, black holes can explode or implode. So
there's a book by some American physicist. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I read it years ago, and he talked about all kinds of theories about the multiverse, including how new universes can be created in the space between universes. It's some very freaky stuff, very convincing, all the time. But because of the nature of physics, we can't, even one could literally happen in the space right in front of you, and it would be as big as our universe, even though it's only in the space between you, because of the way space-time works, and you would never know it.
Oh, this is another nasty question. Everything has a beginning. Then where did the singularity come from? Okay. No. Let me be so kind as to answer this. We assume everything has a beginning.
Yeah, we don't. In physics, they don't.
We don't know if everything has a beginning. We don't know what the beginning is.
We don't know what's outside the universe. We don't know what's
even know what's inside of the universe.
But we don't know what's outside space-time.
Yeah.
And before the Big Bang was outside space-time.
The thing is, we don't even know. Hell, we know more about how do you call it, our Earth than we've ever had in the history of life, and we still don't know everything about our Earth. Let alone the universe,
especially the deep oceans.
Oh, we know nothing about that. We don't know nothing about. I mean, we believe that our planet is built up in layers, so to speak, but we don't know. We can only measure. So yeah, no. I mean, now
the physics is clear. They haven't got a clue, and they're not that bothered by it. That they don't have a clue.
Well, no, that's the thing, though. We don't know yet because we don't know yet. Yeah. Does that mean we will never know? No.
No, but it keeps physicists in a job. If they knew everything, they wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, that is true too. But I do have to say, there's this one thing people always have to be careful about, because there are lots of people who will then try to say, God did it. This is
that's the infinite regression problem.
Yeah, that's the God.
Where did God come from?
Well, there is that. I mean,
no, I mean God is if God can create the universe, then God is infinitely more complex than the universe. So you solve the problem of the creation of something infinitely complex with something infinitely more complex than something infinitely complex.
Well, it is true. Googler Gamer, do we have a Discord or something? Yes, we do. You will find it on, if you want to join, I don't care. It's how did I call it?
Oh, it's not active though.
It's not very active.
It's not active.
It's called Modwayne's House of Fun. But you could check the videos on this channel and the live hangouts on this channel to get more of an idea of what we usually talk about. The thing is, we have an opinion on everything.
No. We do not have an opinion on everything.
And on general, whenever I say A, John says no, B.
No, I say something and you say no. You say, I disagree, I don't agree, and I'm saying that's a surprise. Which is the whole dynamic for this stream, by the way.
True that. True that. So yeah, there is that. I want to have some intellectual talk. Intellectual talk about what, mate?
You want to have an intellectual talk, and he's here? No,
it's dangerous to try that here. That is true. When I was very little, I thought that if I thought too hard about this, the universe would cease to exist. Well, that's the dragon's dream conundrum, isn't it?
Yeah.
What if this is all a dream? MK Modwine would disagree with that entirely. Let's agree to disagree. Oh no, that won't happen.
Let's just say it's a good job we all live in different countries.
We're not against everything, Mike.
No, it was a joke, Mod.
Yeah, I know.
They're not against everything. They're for certain funny substances.
Yeah. Well, there's that. To have respect of whatever can influence your life. Important.
So I like the cycling. And cycling being boring, they talk a lot. And because they talk a lot, they cover lots of things. And then one of the things they mentioned was Brussels. And the guy, so this is just a cyclist commentator, right? And he says, Brussels, the capital of Belgium and Europe. And I'm going, you what? Since when?
Well, isn't it? Together with Strasbourg.
No. Europe.
Well, no, the United Nations of Europe.
No, but not Europe.
No, not
sorry. Technically, that's bollocks. Ask the Swiss. Michael Keller. I know they're a vassal state, as we will be soon. But
yeah, no, I agree. There are plenty of humans. There are plenty of Europeans that are not part of the European Union.
Of course.
What would human evolve to become? Like, what's the next species in this evolution process of Homo sapiens? Googler, we are already beyond Homo sapiens. We are currently Homo sapiens sapiens. What's going to be the next step? I don't know, but we are not Homo sapiens.
Homo sapien idiotis?
Well, probably Homo sapiens social justice warrior. Yeah. But theoretically speaking, we are Homo sapiens sapiens. But indeed, when we look at the SJWs, one could argue this is not the case.
Yeah. No. Evolution is considered by the uninitiated to be something that happens in a direction and is always an improvement. Neither of those things are true. Evolution doesn't have a direction, and all changes are not necessarily improvements. Just look at any species of fish that got caught in a cave and they lose their eyes because they don't need them anymore.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, the idea of evolution going forward or backward is an interpretation we need to make it understandable, but evolution doesn't care. There is no forward or backward. There's only change.
Yeah, exactly. And you will get species like the rhinoceros and humans increasingly who become short-sighted because vision stops being selective. There's stop being a pressure for it being selective.
Yeah.
So we will probably evolve into a bunch of land whales who have very strong thumbs.
Are we not men? Are we Devo?
No, we are. Are we not men? We are Devo. Are we not men? We are Devo. I'm old enough to remember them.
I went
to see them once. We struggled through the fog and the buggers didn't, and so the gig was cancelled. That was very nice.
We went to see them. We didn't, but we went.
No. We went to see them. It was a very foggy night. We struggled through the fog. We got there, and they had failed to get there because of the fog. So the concert was cancelled. So we did go. We did go to see them.
You went to see them, but you didn't see them.
No, I didn't see them. Well, Toya Wilcox had a band, and I went to see her 3 times, and she didn't show up any of those 3 times.
Well, all right then.
But as we know from her subsequent career in various fields, she wasn't exactly serious about a musical career. Though I have got her album, and it is very good.
And in good old-fashioned style, we've absolutely ignored the very topic we set out to start with.
Yeah, I thought we'd answered it. Fathers are good.
Fathers are good.
Except for when they're not. Same for mothers. Same for mothers. People are complicated.
There are always people misbehaving. You can't generalize it, but you can generalize that a child needs its father and its mother.
Yeah. Yeah, and that government policy and the general political discourse are heading in a bad direction when people attack the concept of fathers and the value of celebrating them.
Yeah. There is something, well, that's the thing, though. I mean, the worst thing you can be in our current society is a white male, well, basically wild male, that's it.
So your discussion, there's no apostrophe and E in your,
Yeah.
Y-O-U-R. Sorry, I'm a grammar Nazi. I will pick up on spelling mistakes. So your topic of discussion is why our father's not good? No. Our topic of discussion is to emphasize that fathers are good in general and are being attacked. The very autocorrect will believe you. Sorry. I do shit post my words a lot. No, we're attacking the attacks on fathers and Father's Day.
Yeah.
Because there are various groups. Now Yorkshire should be its own country, I tell you. Independence for Yorkshire.
Yeah. Please. Oh, sorry. Nah. Actually, independence for Scotland. Then we will have no more of this nonsense of
vegans, humans. It depends. My nephew is a very lovely chap who never talks about being a vegan.
In all fairness, there are vegans that are humans, but my rabbits are definitely rabbits.
Yeah.
But they're vegan.
Are they? Because all mammals suckle, and by definition, that isn't being vegan.
Fair enough.
If you're a mammal, you are biologically designed to not be a vegan. It's in the mammal bit.
Yeah, but suckling isn't. I mean,
well, it's milk.
Yeah,
sorry, mammal. It's in the definition of the type of creature we are.
Mother's milk.
Yes. Yeah, no creature is born a vegan. Well, I don't know about particular herbivore non-mammals.
Like fish.
Yeah, there are fish who are herbivores, aren't there?
Yeah. Most plankton.
Lizards, I think. I think there's some small lizards that eat. I mean, a lot of them all like zap the odd bug, so they're not actually vegetarian, but you know. Ah, so Michael Keller's got a sadist as a doctor. There are many mind viruses. Google Gamer. The usual dispute is over who's got a virus and what the virus is, depending upon one's pre-existing political disposition.
But I don't care about vegans.
Fondue diet. No, I mean, as I say, it's like, I heard my nephew's a vegan, right? So I say to my nephew, are you one of those vegans? He says, no, I hate those vegans. And that's it. That's the last time we mentioned it.
Yeah. I mean, at work, there are a few kids who chose not to eat meat. Well, okay. I don't mind. It's that choice.
Well, yeah. But I'm firmly of the belief that animal fats are part of our natural diet and therefore we should eat them.
Yes, they are. Demonstrably so. But hey, I mean, listen, we have an overpopulation problem anyway, so if you want to be vegan and clear the room, yeah, sure.
Well, at least they're skinny.
Mm.
Say that for vegans. They don't tend to be obese.
True that.
Yeah, it's not only vitamins they're deficient in for the most part.
No, it's all sorts of fats, certain hormones.
Well, I was thinking behavioural.
Well, I mean,
Was it Vegan Games? I never succumbed to the temptation to watch Vegan Games, but I heard about that idiot. I don't even know what identity it has, whether it's a he, she, they, whatever. You can't tell with someone called Vegan Games, but I know that they were involved in a lot of drama at one point, and I'm like, nope, I don't care. Got vegan in the name, I'm staying away.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't care about. I mean, you can call yourself vegan. I don't mind. More meat for me. Now, if you are a vegan because you have a problem with the way we are creating our food, yeah, no, I can understand that. The way that we raise our cattle and all that. Yeah, no, yeah, I can even support you there. But no, I'm not vegan, and I don't see myself becoming one. He, she, they, or she, them.
Oh, the spell checker in YouTube is poor. I don't know. Oh, it's two M's, isn't it? I'm trying to remember how to spell Emmental.
Well, if it comes to the whole they, she, blah, 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 I work as a sociotherapist in psychiatry, and I find it very important not to get bogged down and give credence to the illusions and hallucinations of the mentally disturbed. Does that answer?
The problem is that societies increasingly refuse to accept the mental perturbation of so many people. If that made sense, obviously not. Sorry, too many beers. I mean, there are crazy people being treated as normal.
No, actually, it's worse. It's they're crazy people, and they're not treated as normal. No, they're treated as the to-be aspired new norm.
Emmentaler, it's a masculine cheese. Not in this country. It's just treated. We don't have gender in our language. Thank you very much.
No, we have sex.
But no, I mean in language. Gender is a linguistic term.
Gender is a linguistic term, and we do have gender in our language.
Not in English.
What, you don't have male and female words?
Nope.
Well, you do have it in Dutch and in English.
Sorry. No, you have in Dutch, French, Italian, Spanish. You don't have it in English.
Well, smart enough.
We have the. We don't have le and la, or il and la, or whatever. We just have the car.
Yeah.
Because we recognise it's a lump of metal, not a pseudo-female. in the case of a car.
Yeah, car is female, I think.
No, we have a cultural habit, ludicrous leprechaun, which is not the same as a linguistic differentiation. Okay, I was trying to guess how to spell it.
I have no idea what you mean now.
I wrote Emmental is my favourite cheese, and I used the Germanic THAL, and now I'm being told off for putting the H in.
See, there you go. You want to be, how do you call it?
No, because I looked up and bloody...
Ha ha! Pedantic is coming back to meet you.
Yeah.
Indeed, Michael Keller.
You didn't nuke me. You grazed me. You grazed me. Just a flesh wound.
Just a flesh wound. Like the Black Knight.
Like the Black Knight. Just missing a leg, it's a flesh wound.
I'm sorry.
No, this is what we're here for. We're here for
That's
fun.
what we're here for. That's true. That's true. That's true.
And poking fun at me is as good as anybody else. Trust me.
Well, we poke fun of everyone here. Well, not me, obviously, because I'm beyond reproach, but...
No. Sorry, I was going to say something very mean and I won't. But yeah.
So, yeah, there is that. Anything going on? Let me see. Being homosexuals are nature's finest mechanism in population control. No, not really. The percentage of homosexuals within a given society is never really big. So, I mean, you have them, but it's not a big deal. People like to think it's a big deal, but they're not.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why John is typing, but John is typing, and I'm looking forward.
Because I have to spell, so I can't just say it.
As do the French, brought it over here too. Right.
Over there in France.
You would? Are you guys racist? Ha ha ha! What an interesting question.
We don't believe in race.
Yeah, you probably say no, but nature has created a way so that an animal would avoid other species and start interbreeding.
No, that's all incorrect.
That is all incorrect. Now, am I a racist? Yes. I do not see myself mating up with a dog or a pony or all that, because those are different species and one could argue different races. But there is only one human race. So the term racist for humans doesn't apply.
I'm unrealistic. Yes, I'm very unrealistic. That's true.
Unrealistic. Now, if you were to say, are you an ethnicist, then you have somewhat of an argument. The answer would still be no, but you'd still have somewhat.
No, don't give a shit.
But a racist, I'm sorry, mate. All humans are Homo sapiens sapiens. So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah. There's more genetic difference between people within any given population than between any different populations. Therefore, we are all one species, and the concept of race, which is highly disputed to what it even means, but basically it's all bollocks. People.
Yeah. Species are for animals as races are for humans. No, because humans are animals too. We might not like it.
Yeah.
But there are still hominids.
No, I never understood why people do have a problem with being identified as an animal. Would they rather be? A mineral, a vegetable?
Indeed, that. I look more like a Neanderthaler guy. Yes, of course you do, because you're Swiss. And there are people claiming I have not much in common with a human too.
Oh, well, Neanderthals were another race of humans.
They were a different race of humans, but all Neanderthals are gone. The only race of humans that we still have are Homo sapiens sapiens. But certain genes that were Neanderthal genes are within the Homo sapiens sapiens. How do you call it? Genealogy. So obviously, you could have more physical appearances to what people would call Neanderthalis, Homo neanderthalis, but you are still Homo sapiens sapiens.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Oh, damn it. Where is Carlos when you need him?
Yeah, well,
Animals are uncivilized.
No, there is no valid scientific distinction between animals and sorry.
There is definitely civilizations within animals. It's just not up to par with human civilization.
Or we don't recognize it.
Or we don't recognize it. But we do know. For example, rabbits, great example. Rabbits live together in burrows. They have social structure. They build around them. They dig their houses, fair enough, but it's still a way of building. Or ants. Ants are not even mammals, but they're insects, yet still they have a culture. The culture sounds wrong, but they do have a civilization.
Yeah.
Ignorance is no excuse.
Yeah, for not knowing the correct term for Emmentaler, or as I like to call it, Emmental.
Listen, it's quite simple, and I hate to do this, but I have to side with John. There is cheese and not cheese. Is Emmentaler a cheese? Yes, done.
No, it's not that. It's because I wrote Emmental instead of Emmentaler, and then he got stroppy with me. I don't mean really stroppy. He's just tweaking me, which is fine. Perfectly enjoyable exchange.
And our colonial and
well, Michael Keller, I would just like to say, if you take that attitude, well, when JFK said, "Ich bin ein Berliner," he was saying he was a hamburger.
No, not a hamburger, a sausage.
A sausage. Yeah, a sausage. He was being a sausage. But you know what?
We agreed with him, though.
They let it pass.
Yeah. Ants are colonial, not civilized. Can you define civilized for me then, Googler Gamer? Because we might not have the same, how do you call it? Understanding of the word civilized. I thought a Berliner, could it be?
It doesn't really matter. The point is,
it's food.
The point is, he meant Berliner as in the English understanding of it, as in Londoner, New Yorker. Whereas in German, it's a foodstuff.
Donuts are those with holes, pancakes without holes. Berliner. Do you think civilized is eating with a fork and a spoon, mate? Because then a lot of people would argue that I'm not civilized.
Well, not just that, but it means that humans didn't become civilized until the late Middle Ages because they hadn't even invented the fork.
True that. So,
and the Chinese still hadn't until
they still use chopsticks.
They still use chopsticks. So no.
So I think that's not sufficient as
civilized is not killing each other. That's what should be defined as civilized. It's resolving disagreements without killing each other.
How do you eat chicken with my mouth? Yeah, well, there is that. Bloody hell. This is not the most useful of responses, I guess.
Plus, there's a great difference between manners and etiquette, which are things like knives and forks, and being a decent human being. All I'm saying, one can be very refined and a total see you next Tuesday.
So you're not civilized then, as you're not eating with fork and spoon? Well, I know it's what he said, Michael, but don't.
No. I think that's a perfectly reasonable shitposting response.
It's a shitposting response. Fair enough. I eat with a fork and a spoon, just not chicken.
I very rarely eat with fork and spoon, to be fair.
Same
Almost nothing.
What, you eat water? I usually drink it. Oh, no. Well, now I'm doing it, for fuck's sake. I blame you guys.
No. He's saying water eats with a fork and spoon, just not chicken. That's what he said. I eat with a fork and spoon, just not chicken, like water. It is sufficiently ambiguous to be interpretable any way one wants. And I interpret it that water eats with a fork and spoon, except for eating chicken.
So nasty. Well, there you have it then. Oh.
I mean, come on. The guy's got Google in his name. He must be evil.
Come now. Don't call people evil just because they call themselves Google.
Huh? But that's the definition of evil.
No, it's not.
It is. Okay. If you come up with a motto, don't do evil.
And then
I'm sorry. No. Even before anything, I'm sorry. It means you're already overly fixated on bad things and are deflecting too much already.
That's true.
Therefore, Google are evil. Yes, they are. They're the evil empire.
They are. Okay, that's yeah. That I would like to argue the point, but I can't. And they did remove the "Don't Be Evil" logo. That's true.
I'm not disputing that, Michael. But the point is the very fact they started there with it on the mind. I'm not a lot of things, and I never mention them because I don't think about them.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You don't go up to people saying, "Hi, I'm blah blah blah. I don't kill people."
Yeah. And just note, when a certain Carl Benjamin tells a certain politician he wouldn't even rape her, he gets into all kinds of trouble over it.
Yeah, which is, in all fairness, logical.
No, Google is owned by Alphabet. It's a subsidiary.
Yeah.
It's not used to be Alphabet. Google is a wholly owned subsidiary of Alphabet Incorporated.
But didn't they start Alphabet later? I mean,
it doesn't matter what the order is. The point is that the current ownership is Alphabet owned Google.
Yeah. Yeah, but Alphabet is Google.
No, Alphabet is Alphabet. They own Google. The way these things work, usually for tax reasons, is because I work for a very large company and they would restructure like clockwork halfway through every financial year. And I worked out it must be because if they were never a clear structured identity for any financial year, it would be they could do all kinds of nasty things with their accounts and pay too little tax because it's a nightmare to try and work out what the heck was going on with it.
No, that's true. It's a mess, though. Let's call it that.
No, it's called a scam. It's a scam.
Yeah.
For tax reasons, usually.
Mm-hmm. To try and evade detection.
Well, it's if you heard anything about the honey badger lawsuit against Calgary Expo and the Mary Sue. One of the problems they had was they asked the company who owned Calgary Expo what company owns the event they wanted to sue over. They were told a lie, and then the lawyers for said company tried to have the court case thrown out and wasted a lot of court time because the wrong company was named.
Yeah. Nature gave only humans the sixth sense of reason.
No, humans have a lot more than six senses. Should watch QI.
Yeah, but before I'm going to say no, I'm going to ask you: can you define what reason is? Because one could argue that
Well,
animals.
he's not saying reason is a sense. He's using senses. There is a reason why nature gave only humans a sixth sense, without stating what that sixth sense is.
Okay, so then I misread it. Fair point. What is the sixth sense?
Well, you've seen the film, haven't you?
What? That you're seeing dead people all around? I would call that hallucinations.
I call it a very silly film.
Mm.
Sense of thinking.
Sense.
Well,
Actually,
I would dispute your claim that only humans can think. We might have our form of language.
but yeah, this is provably wrong. There are animals that use tools. You can't use tools without thinking. You need
Well, and
society.
they've witnessed the behavior in certain kinds of chimps and things that show a sense of self, and things like doing something wrong and then blaming someone else for it.
Yeah,
That's thinking.
I never liked that film. Bruce Willis ghosting around. Well, fair enough.
I like Bruce Willis. I liked that one he did with oh God, I never remember what these things are called. The Da Vinci, the one where they had to oh shit, what was it called? My brain's gone blank. The one where they had to go and break into the Vatican and steal the Da Vinci Codex. Oops, hang on. Sorry. If you hear that ringing, Axel's ringing me. Sorry. Just Doc's Real Raven. Why the? Oh.
I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, okay. I'm back, more or less.
Oh, you weren't there?
Yeah.
Sorry, Real Raven called me on Skype.
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Hang on, I'm just. My trouble is I forget that I haven't got a desktop icon for it.
Oh, all right.
I was referring to the Sixth Sense movie, not Bruce Willis, who's in the Sixth Sense movie. It was.
Anyway.
No, it wasn't.
It was. It wasn't. What are we talking on about?
Tom Hanks. The Sixth Sense.
Right. Okay.
With Bruce Willis as a ghost. I see dead people.
Wasn't it? I thought it was as well. Anyway, going back to Googler. That's adaptation, not thinking. One could argue that adaptation is a kind of thinking.
Oh, hang on. Okay, you carry on. Sorry.
I'm hanging on now.
No, you carry on. He's saying he needs to get in touch with you. Oh, Cocoscope is kicking out all political content creators.
Really?
That's what he's just put.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, it's gone 11:30. Are we going to end soon? Because I'll invite him into the after chat.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Are we going to end soon because it's after 11:30? 12.
Yeah, we may as well.
And I'll invite him into the after chat.
Well, bring him in. We can bring him in now.
No, I know.
We have a plan for that. Real Raven's going to go to hold off you, Mo, Dwayne. We need to talk about it on your
Wednesday stream.
Toxic, I love it when you want to say something to me, but what? But yeah, we can talk about Cocoscope Wednesday, sure. It's kind of funny because, well, let's not start on it now. I understand them, though. It's quite annoying, but I hoped Cocoscope wouldn't do this.
He said, "Can you tell him now without making it public?" You should have started with that.
Well, I'm just checking Cocoscope, so now I'm checking. I can make you a mod, Googler, but you're just here, so I'm not going to. Sorry, mate. You're welcome to join.
And is it rather anonymous? Give yourself an icon.
Well, I mean, the after link to me. Okay, well, John, can you do the honors?
Yeah. Well, Axel. Oh, sorry. Damn it! Done it again. Hang on, I've got everyone open on something.
There's too much going on right now, isn't it?
And you know, as old uns, you know, we get confused. Well, I get confused easily, constantly, all the time. Okay, so I've sent a link to the stream to Alicia and Real Raven. Yeah, I told the Honey Badger suggested Pornhub.
Well, yeah.
And I was telling Alicia about that, but obviously, yes. Okay.
Gamer, like you're going to hack every bit of my data. I doubt that. I don't think you can, nor that you will.
It's not that.
Not everyone is a mod. So, I mean, Michael Keller.
It just seems like it.
It just seems like it. Yeah, that's true. Michael Keller has been here a lot, and he's still not a mod.
No.
So I don't just drop wrenches on everyone.
Come on Wednesday, be a great show.
Well, Wednesday. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get someone from Cocoscope to join. Actually,
that'd be interesting. That rather attractive young Canadian woman who set it up.
Yeah, I don't think she'll come.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I don't think Google Gamer. On average, we have a stream every Wednesday.
Otherwise, John will start complaining about it again. Damn right, I will.
And
I do. I'm British. Come on.
Oh, come on. Let me answer the poor soul's question.
No,
every
sorry.
Wednesday we have a live stream. We have Modway's Try to Understand, blah, blah, blah. And every, how do you call it? Every Saturday, we have Old Fart and Older Fart. I'm not sure if I will make anyone mods. I mean, the people that are mods, it just grew that way. But in all fairness, our stream doesn't need a lot of moderation. No one actually moderates, as far as I know, because we do
in the chat. Oh Lord, no.
No, we believe in free speech. So if
we're free speech types here. So, and if you say anything too bad, we'll just mock you.
Yeah, well, we'll respond to what you say. I mean,
and we'll be mocking and mean and cruel.
Other than doxing people, I don't care. And I don't really care about doxing people either, but it's just uncouth, so I don't like that.
It's just I've never been one.
There's nothing much for being a moderator here. It's just that you have a blue wrench, but there's nothing you can do with
it. Sorry. Sorry.
And hi there, Real Raven. Welcome for joining, mate.
Hi, Modwayne. I didn't even know you were streaming. It's not on my subscriptions page, you know. Otherwise,
it should be in your diary every Saturday.
Yeah,
I know theoretically that you
Theoretically,
guys have a new.
that is true.
I know. Okay, I know theoretically that you guys have a regular chat. I wasn't even aware that it was Saturday. Everything changes. Even Fun Day Sunday is now on a Wednesday or on a Friday. Now it's really weird.
bye, Googler.
Yeah.
And
Hi, Googler Gamer.
yeah. No, I'll see if I can get Cocoscope. If I can get someone from Cocoscope to click. Of course, it doesn't like that.
Okay.
To join, I'm not going to do that now, though. See if-
I thought maybe we could make that a topic late next Wednesday, whatever,
Yeah. Well, Alicia seems keen to talk.
Because as I was talking to Alicia, I don't think it makes much sense if everybody on their own just jumps ship. They're doing. I think it's the slow frog thing happening. It's kind of they're turning up the heat now. So first thing is let's take away.
They never struck me as the sort to care about it.
No, but the problem is that, and this is something. This is why Subscribestar had this problem as well. They might lose their connection to. If I understand this right, they might lose their connection to the payment providers, and when that happens, they will die.
This is how they get you. They don't kick you off. They stop people having you on in the first place.
Yeah, but then again,
I don't know. When what they do is, so what I understood is they make it impossible to charge money, and obviously since the whole platform is based on. Since the whole platform is based on you're being paid for your work, I think the assumption is that, okay, you're in it for the money, so you will go away by yourself. So you're not a problem. And I think one could turn that into, one could weaponize that a little bit. It's, I think the best move in judo is if your opponent goes for it and you pull him down with you. So my personal idea would be to make an announcement. All the political people who are affected by this make an announcement on Cocoscope and set a D-Day and say, okay, that's the day when we'll leave. We'll take our content with us, delete all content, and we're going to platform X. And you can come along. And we would highly recommend that if you don't want to be treated like a child, then you can also delete your account on Cocoscope. That will hurt. And that's the only way, I think.
Yeah, but no, it won't, because
of course it will. It will still turn into a successful platform for people who love kittens videos and stuff. But that's okay. At least you're taking the adults with you.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. The problem is that Cocoscope is not doing this because they want to. The way they,
I understand that, but it still needs to hurt them, because they could just say to the payment processors, okay, that's fine. Give us a week or two to get sorted, and then I would just look for a different payment provider. It's possible. It's hard, but it's not impossible. And obviously they don't give a fuck. It's more important for them to, well, I can understand it in some way. You want your paycheck, but I would still like.
It's hard enough launching a platform.
Yeah, it is.
People giving you grief over the people on your platform.
Well, what I question though, John, is didn't she say something that that you can do any sort of content as long as it's legal?
Yeah,
and
no.
It seems like they broke.
No. Look, right, it's like this, right?
Or was it just adults? Was it just you can show your boobs and stuff, and
No. She probably started with entirely free speech intentions.
Okay.
But
so I think that should at least be said.
No, the point is you're going after an equal victim, because they wouldn't be rejecting political platforms if they could possibly help it, because it's a political platform who will help them grow.
The thing is, if you collaborate with an extortionist and don't go to the police, you're part of the.
This, and I know this. And how many companies back down and withdraw advertising campaigns or apologize for nothing when there's an outrage mob.
And the
Exactly.
Fact is,
the worst
people
part,
So you need to teach
get
these people.
scared.
That's all I'm saying. You can say,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's not their fault," but you're not
No,
going to
but
change
here's
anything.
the problem. Okay, you can go after her and just become the bad guy. All the narrative will be is going after her.
Yeah.
There's
No,
no good
I'm not
optics in
saying it's
that.
Cocoscope's fault. I'm just saying that it's not handled very well. If you're always because if they see that it's so easy, for payment company or whoever is behind it to say a word, and then just get everybody removed, without any pushback. I think then there must be pushback, and it needs to be heard. It needs to be felt. In the end of the day, it might just be a blip to their, people might not care, and people may say, okay, well,
People
maybe
don't
it is
care.
not.
That's why they do it. But that's not the problem, is it?
It's just that what do you suggest? Do nothing. Everybody does his own thing.
No, I'm not saying do nothing.
I'm trying to find a constructive plan to turn this into something else, And I think, one of the strategy is, okay, I'm going to host my own videos on my own website, But if you like me are subscribed to hundreds of people, will you go to hundreds of different websites? Or is it better to say, oh, we're all going to DTube or wherever, or BitChute or whatever? Just an example.
No, okay, right.
Then you move people, you
No,
can bring
here's
them
the
along.
thing. This is why Pornhub is the perfect solution. You've got to go to a large, established platform where you're a minority, because the minute you are a sufficient or specialized, it's a specialized platform associable with you directly, they will go after it. The minute,
Well,
not you, but all the political YouTubers. They will go after it.
John,
But if you go after a platform that exists on its own, they can't, because the platform is like resilient.
I don't, Alicia, by the way. John, I'm not really sure on that one, because don't forget, Cocoscope got started because of the political silencing happening, not political silencing, the sexual silencing happening on YouTube. That's why they started their own thing.
Yeah.
And at least they're not like they're canceling anyone political, right or left, at least.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that this shows that whomever they are afraid of canceling them, so we're talking about Visa, MasterCard, payment providers like these, in all fairness, the problem they're talking about is they're completely okay with sex, they're just not okay with politics.
Yeah.
That's the issue we should address.
I know.
We have to address it, because the fact is that, did you watch Project Veritas? They did an undercover expose for Pinterest, and Pinterest it was actively censoring pro-abortion. So it's not even like the bar is moving so far, and 50% of Americans are against abortion, I guess, pro-life, whatever. So
I'll dox myself now.
Yeah, so it's like 50% of people will be screwed. Like they're coming after everybody now. Yeah. Like it's getting scary. It's not even funny anymore. It's getting scary.
Well, they will never stop until they are stopped. This is a problem. Every success they have just emboldens.
Yeah, and the problem is that I can understand Cocoscope. I'm not saying I agree with them, but I can understand that motivation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if we do anything that can even remotely be construed as harassment, it will backfire on us so badly.
Here's a thought. Did you hear? Did you see what Michael Keller wrote? That you have to leaving the platform won't do much. Obviously, it's better to do real life fighting, as in lawsuits or whatnot. I personally don't think that that's a viable solution, because it's very it's expensive and
No, that's not true. I think he's right. It might cost money, but I do think that is the way that we need to go, and this is why I was so positive when the Slingshot channel, I forgot his name, started the YouTube. How do you call it? I can't remember the word, but they would organize YouTube creators would organize account to YouTube from time to time. The thing is, we do need to charge these payment providers that pull out because they are companies that provide civil service.
uh-huh.
And by taking out the rights for certain people to be using those civil service, they are creating a situation where society is split into first class and second class.
Now the question is, would you think is it possible to organize a whole group of people to pay a lawyer for this, or do it like what's it called? The kind of not a single person, but a group of people. There's a class action shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, is it possible? Yes. Is it possible for me, for you? Probably not. We're not big enough.
Yeah. So what I thought is use the platform as because the Cocoscope didn't delete or deplatform or remove our channels yet. So we can still do advertisement. We can still use the platform, and we can use the platform. We could use the platform for directing people elsewhere. To take them with us. Once you're gone, you're gone. You can't do that anymore. But once you have a pull and a presence, you can use that, and you can use it much more effectively if everybody does it at the same day. You have like a D-Day, If there's hundreds of...
Sorry, I've got a
There's
very
a lot
silly
of class
suggestion.
action. There's a lot of class action lawsuits already going against YouTube. So the only thing what would be wise would be to gather up all the different class action lawsuits that I just found and advertise them, and then anybody else can join on to that. Because there's like a fuck ton of class action lawsuits.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can
wow.
I make my shit posted comment now? Alicia, get some prosthetic breasts. And then do your videos on Cocoscope as if you're doing your breasts, but they're prosthetic, right? And then your politics, and then it'd be like, I'm not politics, I'm doing sex show.
And what shall I do?
You can have prosthetic
My music.
breasts too.
Shall I do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Do a Devon Tracy and have.
Here's how to do music production. By the way, the SJWs are killing music.
I think, I think we should plan something maybe and scrutinize it a bit. I thought I wish that I wanted to suggest with to Modwayne that we do something on the next Wednesday show and maybe prepare a bit of a strategy.
Well,
or at least talk about that on the next Wednesday show and really put that in the title, Cocoscope. Yeah. Because you know what? You would be the very first channel. I haven't found anything on YouTube that talks about this yet.
I gotta bail. I'm sorry. I gotta bail. But count me in on Wednesday. Yeah. I wish we could do it sooner.
Yes, you might still want to talk about this and that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, we should do it on Modwayne. Already said that we were doing it on your channel on Twitter, so now you're obligated.
That's pretty cool. So the way that I found out about this, by the way, today was on Minds. There was one channel, and I tweeted it, if you've seen on my Twitter. One guy who said, all this stuff was demonetized. And it looked like, to me, some alt-right guy, obviously. Is there like brass music in the background? Is somebody practicing the trombone?
Oh, sorry, that was Steve. Sorry.
Is he playing the trombone? Is it?
The trumpet.
Trumpet. All right, nice.
No, cool. I think it's a deliberate strategy. So what they do is they wait for people to pile off of YouTube onto a new platform.
Yep.
But they don't go after it straight away. They wait till there's enough critical mass there for it to be a pain in the arse for people to move platform again.
Yeah, I agree. It's slow boiling frog or something, and then you jump out. That's the idea.
Well, no, it's not. It's a war of attrition. They're trying to wear people out because here's the thing. So people are fed up with YouTube. So everyone said, "Oh, Cocoscope's great. So you all go over to Cocoscope."
Yeah.
But they let you all get bedded in. They let you invest time and money and effort in the new platform just to destroy it. But if they destroyed it so that you didn't even go there, or you've not put any time or effort yet, it doesn't have the same negative impact.
But they also use you. They use you. Obviously, they use the variety of content to build up like a crowd of people who regularly goes to Cocoscope or wherever the new platform is, and then they shed stuff because now they're big enough to.
No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people who are attacking us a political.
All right,
strategy.
I don't care.
They let us go to Cocoscope.
Yeah.
They leave Cocoscope alone. They let the people, our type of creator, build up an audience, invest time and effort, and then they go after it because it's not worth it. They want maximum impact, maximum strain.
Yeah, I don't know. I would think what really happens is that they're going for the biggest one, and
they do everything on purpose.
Yeah, that's what you think, and that I let me just let us agree that I disagree. Okay, you can say no, but I say I disagree. Okay, because you said it before. I couldn't make a reason. I made one sentence, and you say no. That's the way you always operate. You shoot me down before I can explain something. So what I think is that Cocoscope didn't have the critical mass then, and it hadn't yet proved that it could actually pay out people that it actually could support, so it's wait and see. It's not so much so that like a strategy thing that we'll wait until it really hurts, but it's not on our radar. Let's go for the big ones first, YouTube, and maybe Cocoscope now has critical mass.
No,
maybe
it's not an alternative. What you said isn't an alternative. They are very differing aspects of the same strategy.
No, that's okay. What you're saying is it is a strategy, and what I say it looks like a strategy.
No,
Okay.
I'm saying is that you're saying, they wait till there's critical mass, which is indeed implying there's a strategy.
Yeah, but they didn't wait for the critical mass. It came on the radar when it became critical mass. There were so many complaints. People started watching Cocoscope, and leftists started to complain about it. It's not like we're looking at everything and then we'll wait till it comes up. It's like more 1,000 people complain. Okay, now let's do something. You know what's behind it, right?
Who's doing it? Who's coordinating them doing it?
You know what the rule is, right? You know the rule that makes this happen. There's rules from these financial payment providers that say that if something's slightly dodgy, then we'll do something about it. That's the rule behind it. Now, who says that's something dodgy? That might be other bigger customers. That might be that might be completely. That might not be the payment providers. That's other people. And they're the ones maybe that do the strategy. So at the end of the day, the payment providers are also just another tool in the chain.
Yeah, no one said they weren't. I wasn't talking about payment providers.
Yeah. So what you're saying
is
that
I'm talking about political actors. I'm talking about people whose life
activists.
Yeah, activists. People whose life involves. You might as well kill the stream, Modwayne.
Maybe he thinks it's. I don't know. Are we going by the clock, or are we going by when it stops to be
the fact that everyone's going to bed.
Considering the time, it is also a good time to go to bed. I already made the stream for next Wednesday. I'll try to see if I can get someone from Cocoscope to join, but considering the size of this channel, sincerely. But it would be cool. This isn't the after stream, and there won't be an after stream now because we've been talking through it live. I like to thank everyone for coming. It was an interesting one, and then the Cocoscope thing happened, which is also interesting. So let's see what this is going. Next live stream, we will talk about it. Live stream is already up, set for Wednesday. I assume
That is next week. That's also next week.
it's in 3
Well,
days.
technically, it's this week because it's now Sunday.
Yes.
Are you bloody Yankee? The week starts
No.
on Monday, man.
No, it does not. It starts on Sunday.
No, it starts on Monday.
You know what? The two of you can argue about that one, but we are going offline. Thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you all next time.